What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the very first episode of Let's Talk Pokemon. As always, I am Draco, and this is a new thing we're going to do on the channel. I'm going to try to do these once a week. Basically, it's going to be a Pokemon Spotlight, where we take a specific Pokemon and we talk about it. We'll talk about maybe like what's been happening throughout the week with Pokemon and stuff like that. I do plan on maybe reporting on tournaments and stuff. I just want to be more involved and play more Pokemon and do more things with Pokemon, because at the end of the day, I absolutely love this game. It's legitimately my favorite game to play out of any game ever. Like ever. I've played since day one, since Pokemon first came out in, obviously, America. I remember I was one of the first people, if not the first person, to bring Pokemon cards to my middle school. It was the Machamp deck. I brought that in. I remember that. Guy had red. The first Pokemon I ever picked was Charmander. So I figured, about 2 years ago, I should say, I actually started playing competitive, and that's where the channel was born and all of that stuff. But, you got to get better. So I figured, what's an easiest way to get better? Well, that's to research the individual Pokemon in the game, because after all, they're the pieces you play with. And the way VGC works is they're divided up into series. We're in the middle, or near the end of Series 1. Today, as of this recording, is like the 23rd of the month, and it ends at the end, and the new Series 2 begins at the beginning of the new month. And it's going to actually include the Pokemon we are talking about today, and that's going to be the Paradox Pokemon. Now, I'm going to probably try and keep these pretty short, but this one's going to be a tiny bit longer, just because there's 12, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 Paradox Pokemon to talk about. 11 or 12, something like that. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, we're just going to talk about them, and we're going to... What it's going to be is I'm going to tell you the names of them. I'll talk to you about, like, some items possibly that can be on it. I'm not going to go over EV spreads, because like I said, I'm not going to go over EV spreads because I'm not like a competitive player like that. A lot of my spreads are just stuff that I come up with, which sometimes that's why it takes me so long to get a team out, because I'm just developing the spreads on them. A good way to do it is to use PokePaste and use spreads that way. You can learn spreads that way, which is something we'll definitely be going over in a different episode of Let's Talk Pokemon. But in this episode, we're just going to talk about the Paradox Pokemon. So we'll talk about the names, we'll talk about the abilities, which they all have basically the same ability. Some key moves, some moves to take notes of, and then we'll go over base stats. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing we're actually going to go on to is actually going to be a website, which I'll have a link below. And the name of this website is something you've probably heard of, and that if you've been around this for a while, is Cerebi. This is Cerebi. Go away, words. Cerebi is a website that is literally one of the best places to get information on Pokemon. If you look over here on the screen left here, there's a ton of different links. You got anime, video games, you got attack decks, like everything you need to know. The easiest way for me that I've found to search anything on Pokemon is to simply just Google exactly what it is. And if you're looking for Cerebi, type Cerebi at the end, and it'll probably pull it up. It will pull it up. It does it for me. So the first thing we're going to talk about is you're probably wondering, what are Paradox Pokemon? Well, Paradox Pokemon are Gen 9 Pokemon that came out this gen, the new game Scarlet and Violet, and they are playing off of how Scarlet and Violet are. What I mean by that is Scarlet is basically past, and Violet is basically future, and you'll see this in these Paradox Pokemon. So the list of Paradox Pokemon going like this. The first one we got on deck is going to be Great Tusk, and that's going to be a past Pokemon. The first ones we're talking about are past Paradox Pokemon. And then we got Brute Bonnet, which kind of looks like an Amoonguss. Great Tusk kind of looks like Donphan. Sandy Shocks, they're all based off of other Pokemon, if you haven't noticed that with the first two we've talked about already. Sandy Shocks I just laugh whenever I see this thing. It just reminds me of like some 80s like punk rock dude. I don't know why. Anyway, Sandy Shocks is this one right here, and then Screamtail, Jigglypuff kind of look like, Fluttermane, Slitherwing, Roaring Moon, which contradicts everything that Salamence is. Old, you know how Salamence like dreamed about having wings, Bagon, and then evolves finally to have it. Yeah. Well, this one had wings from the beginning, apparently. Anyways, future Paradox Pokemon are going to be Iron Treads, Iron Moth, Iron Hands, Iron Jugulus, Iron Bundle, and Iron Valiant. Cerebi has everything you need right here. It tells you the types, like this Iron Treads is a Ground Steel, Cork Drive ability, and then it has base stats. But what we're going to do to go over that is we're going to pull up Showdown, and then we can talk about moves and everything. So Cerebi is a really good resource. I'll have a link below for them. But if we go over to Showdown here, we can actually start looking at, the meat and potatoes, the good stuff, the juice of the Pokemon, we can call it. I'm not going to give you the suggestions for Terra types or anything like that. This isn't what you should use. This is my opinion. Some dude in a basement who likes to play Pokemon. This is just my opinion. So take them as you will. Some things I could say right now, they may not be 100%, maybe I'm off a little bit, but I'm learning, and that's the whole point of doing this. So let's get started. We're going to go over the future Pokemon first, and this first little dude right here is going to be Iron Bundle, and he's kind of funny looking, like he's like, Delibird. He's pretty cool, actually. I actually don't sleep on this guy. He's an Ice Water type, and you're probably going to have him hold something like a Booster Energy, because he has the ability Cork Drive. All the future Pokemon have this ability, Cork Drive. Cork Drive works like this. Electric Terrain's active or Booster Energy used heightens. Highest stat is 1.3 times, or if it's speed, it's 1.5 times. So what that means is if you're holding this energy right here, this Booster Energy right here, you bring him into battle, one-time use. Okay, Booster Energy activates the Protosynthesis or Cork Drive abilities single use. So whatever your highest stat is, or if it's speed, you're going to get 1.3 or 1.5. All the Paradox Pokemon have Cork Drive or Protosynthesis, and they all can hold the Booster Energy. You're probably not going to want everyone to hold the Booster Energy, but they all can. So, as far as stats for the Pokemon, for Iron Bundle, he kind of works like this. He's got an HP stat of 56. Base, these are your base stats. He's going to attack base of 80. Now, we're going to get into some pretty big numbers here, and this is why I said don't sleep on this Pokemon. This thing's got a defense stat of 114. Now, with a base stat HP of 56, you're really going to have to bulk accordingly to make sure that he can actually take those hits, because you want that HP number. You want a good solid HP number and a good defense number on top of that, and then you got some really good bulk. But like I said, with a defense of 114 giving you a perfect IV of 134 with 0 investments, that's a really good defense stat right then and there. You put some investments in it and you can go from there. Now, if you look at this special attack stat right here, this is insane. You're talking 124 base special attack. Like, that's crazy. I mean, you look over at Iron Hands. Iron Hands more than physical. It's got a base 50. Jugulus, base 122. That's a special attacker. Like, just compare it to those, to the Jugulus. Like, yeah, 124, 120. Like, that's no joke. Base special attack. And then you look at this insane speed number of 136. Base speed of 136. What I mean by that is if you invest correctly, this thing will be wicked fast, especially with the Cork Drive. So if you boost your energy or you have electric terrain, this thing will be wicked fast and to be able to take some pretty good hits. Now, I will note that special defense is base 60, so you could maybe even run like an assault vest on it and make it really bulky that way, with some sort of electric terrain user to get your Cork Drive going, and you still get your speed boost or whatever. That could be an option, but I really think Booster Energy would work pretty nicely on here. I've seen this on the ladder a few times, on like the casual side and on Showdown. I think it's going to do really well. Don't sleep on Iron Bundle. As far as moves, though, if we look at the moves, I really think if you look at its base stats, I really think it's going to be more of a kind of supportive role. because it's got some really good supportive moves. You could run it in the supportive world. I mean, you got Roarveil. Encore is always cheeky and fun to hit. Helping Hand and Taunt. Those moves right there are really good supportive moves. Aurora Veil, you get a really, really fast Aurora Veil. That's amazing. So, like, what I'm saying is this could be potentially be a really good supporter. If we look at its special attacks, it's got some pretty good special attacks in the fact that it has a good spread move in Blizzard. It's got Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, which are great moves in itself. And then it's got an awesome way for speed control called Icy Wind, which lowers your foes or your foe, if you're single or double, speed by 1. There is one move I want to point out here, and this move right here is a move that I loved using in Sword and Shield, and that is Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry, if you don't know, the way it works is it has 100% or 10%. Sorry, my camera's in the way. A 10% chance to freeze. I was like 100%. My brain was like, "That's not right, Draco. You know that's not right." Anyways, it's got a 10% chance to freeze. It's an ice type move, but the kicker of this move is it's super effective on water. Things like Palafin and stuff like that. I could definitely see Freeze Dry, and I have seen Freeze Dry being utilized on this Pokemon. Same thing with Icy Wind. So maybe run Icy Wind, Freeze Dry, and then you could put Hydro Pump, you could put Blizzard, Ice Beam, Terra Blast, Protect, stuff like that. But I really think Icy Wind and Freeze Dry are probably going to be pretty decent staples on here. If we jump over to Iron Hands is the next Paradox Pokemon, future Paradox Pokemon. This is going to be a fighting electric type Pokemon. I could see an Assault Vest on here because special attack and stuff like that, or special defense I should say, are kind of low, and its attack and HP stat are really good. So I could see an Assault Vest. You could obviously put the booster energy on here, maybe a Focus Sash, leftovers, stuff like that. As far as stats though for this guy, he's got a base HP of 154, an attack stat of 140, a base defense of 108, a special defense base of 68, a speed of 50, and a base special attack of 50. So you're probably not going to run him with a base with the attack. Special attack, you're probably going to run him something natured where you take away from your special attack and boost like defenses and stuff. It is fighting, so if it has this move, it does have Body Press, which is cool, and Iron Defense. So you can run it. I love running Iron Defense Body Press Pokemon. It's one of my favorite things to do because it's checked off of your defense stat, not your attack stat. So that is something. As far as like other moves and stuff like that, it's got Brick Break. It's got access to Brick Break. It's got access to Bulldozer, like you see right here. It's got Close Combat. CC is a great move. Will note that you have to watch out when you use it. Don't get all willy-nilly because defense and special defense are lowered by 1 when you do use it. It's got Drain Punch for health recovery, which is really, really good. It's got EQ Earthquake, hits adjacent Pokemon, double damage on Dig. That's really cool. And it has another move that makes it really viable, and that's Fake Out. Now, unlike its counterpart, Hariyama, it does not have Wide Guard, unfortunately. If this thing had Wide Guard, it'd be amazing. But you do have like Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Focus Punch. You can even run Play Rough. Good check to other fighting types. So you could run Play Rough. You can run Rock Slide. This thing's got Swords Dance, Substitute, Seismic Toss. That's not really the best move in the world, but it's got Seismic Toss. That's awesome. Rock Slide. And then you get into some of the electric moves it knows. It can know Thunder, so it can operate really, really well with Thunder on a rain team. 110 base power with, a very low special attack, but it does have Thunder. So you're probably going to want to lean towards like the physical side of things because with its base attack of 140, it's going to do a lot of damage. So if you were to have maybe something like Earthquake, Fire Punch, say Ice Punch even could do a thing. Play Rough is physical. I would definitely recommend Play Rough. There's a lot of Dragon and Dark and fighting Pokemon out there in the meta right now. I would definitely recommend Play Rough. Um, it does have this one move that I do want to point out, which is a very good way for cycling your fake outs, and that's going to be this move right here, and that's Volt Switch. Um, Volt Switch, the way it works, if you don't know, is an electric attack that has a base power of 170, or not 170, that's way much. My camera's in the way of the number. Base power of 70, 100% accuracy, and the user switches out after damaging the target. So, fake out, do whatever you need to do with your other opponent, with your partner Pokemon, Tailwinds, Trick Rooms, attack, whatever, and then Volt Switch out, bring in another Pokemon to do some big time damage, and then you got a fake out, late game fake out, or you need to switch in because you got some bulk on this thing to take a hit. I really think Iron Hands is going to be a huge part of the meta in Series 2. Another notable move to talk about is going to be Belly Drum. Belly Drum maximizes your attack, but you lose 50% of your HP. But it does have Drain Punch, so you do have a way to recover health, and if you're on like a citrus berry or you're on like grassy terrain or even leftovers. So I could see this thing being a Belly Drum user very easily. So that's Iron Hands. Iron Hands I think is going to be really good, so keep an eye on Iron Hands. It's really good in raids and stuff like that, so I don't see why it wouldn't be good in VGC. Third Pokemon we're going to talk about is going to be Iron Jugulus. Iron Jugulus is a really cool Pokemon. I like the way he looks. Actually, I have a shiny? I caught a shiny version of him in my game. I like the way he looks. His typing with the dark type and the flying type gives you a really good switch in into ground moves like Earthquake and stuff like that. And flying. There's Marioscarada exists, Mungus exists, all sorts of things that exist that don't want to take flying damage. As far as items, I could really see a Life Orb being really good on here. Obviously the booster energy, stuff like that. Same ability, Cork Drive, it doesn't change. The abilities, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they didn't put enough effort into the Iron Pokemon, and they put a lot more design effort into the past Paradox Pokemon. Like, just looking at them, like, this is just Hydreigon turned into Steel, and that's what they all are, but, like, I feel like they could have maybe done a little bit better, especially on the names. Anyways, talk about some stats here for Iron Jugulus. Iron Jugulus is going to be base stats of HP 90, attack 80, defense 86, special defense 80, and the two monstrous stats of speed base 108, sorry about that, speed base stat of 108, and a special attack base of 122. If we look at these, like this 122 base attack right here, special attack I should say, like that's a good number. I really think it's a good number. It goes along with the iron bundles being 124, but like 122 is still a really good number. I mean, maxed out with a special attack nature. Where are you at? Attack minus special defense plus special defense. I don't even know. If we did like mild, which you wouldn't do mild because it's minus defense, but 191 full invested for Iron Jugulus. You put something on there that, like this, like a Life Orb, and then you start smacking things, tearing into dark with Dark Pulse, like big time damage coming your way. I really think Iron Jugulus is going to do really good. It is kind of squishy as far as defenses, 86 base defense, 80 special defense, and a 94 HP base HP stat is pretty decent, I think. Again, these are just all my opinions on everything, so don't be like, oh, you're so wrong, Draco. If I'm wrong, then be like, oh, you're wrong, it's actually really terrible. Let me know, and then we can go from there. But I think it's kind of squishy, so you really need to. I think it's going to be a good late game Pokemon where you come in, deliver that maybe one or two huge hit to pick up a game. So I really think it's going to be cool. As far as other moves, it's got acrobatics. So if you do run like a booster energy gets used up. Therefore, your acrobatics will be doubled and powered. So now instead of a base power 55, you're doubled that, 100% accuracy, stab damage, all sorts of good things. It's got Body Slam Crunch. Body Slam's cool. Crunch is a really good physical move, but it's got really low physical attack. So maybe you're going to stay away from that Crunch, Body Slam, acrobatics type of build and go lean more towards this Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse. Maybe toss an Earth Power on there for recovery. And then go with, like, Heat Wave right here would be pretty good. Hurricane would be really good. This thing would operate really well on a rain team with Hurricane. The cool thing about these Iron Pokemon, and none of them are Steel, so you could put them on a Fire Sun team with Heat Wave and stuff like that and take advantage of the Sun being up. It does have Knockoff, which is a really good move to call out because Knockoff is always good to use when you're just trying to take advantage of something. Maybe lower some damage output, knocking off a Life Orb, or lowering some defense output, knocking off a Assault Vest, stuff like that. It does have Outrage, which is a really powerful physical dragon move. But again, this is Iron Jugulus, so it's not a dragon type. It's not Hydreigon, so maybe the physical move isn't the best move. Obviously, it has Protect. It does have Tailwind, just like Hydreigon. But I do like seeing Taunt on here too, because Taunt is definitely a good way to disrupt stuff. Zen Headbutt's pretty cool. It does have U-Turn. Again, the U-Turn and Zen Headbutt are physical, but U-Turn's a good way to get out of dodge if you need to. It does have Air Slash. Air Slash is a really good move because it has a 30% chance to make the target flinch. So Air Slash is special. That's a good move to call out. It's got that. And then, it's got like Sunny Day. Snarl's pretty cool for some attack damage control. You do have Focus Energy, so you could do the same thing that Hydreigon does. But yeah, I really think you're gonna lean it to a special attacker, and you're gonna put some speed investment and hope that this thing hits as hard as it possibly can. I think it's gonna do really well. I think it'll have a good spot and it'll have a good showing. Iron Moth is going to be our next Paradox Pokemon we talk about. Volcarona it's what it's supposed to be, but it's an Iron Volcarona. It has Quark Drive, obviously. I've fought this a few different times in the past couple days that people have been really battling with Series 2 teams on Casual Battle and on the Ranked. And I think I've O-code it every single time I've hit it with a super effective move. So I don't really know how good it's going to be. I don't know too much about it. But, I mean, I could see it having uses depending on, like, what moves and stuff you're going to put on it. But that's any Pokemon. As far as the stats, though, it's got a base HP of 80, a base attack of 70, defense of 60. Boo, that seems pretty low. A special attack of 140, which, like, right there gives it a viable option to be able to do huge amounts of damage, especially if you can pair your stab move with a super effective move. You're probably going to probably pick up a KO or OHKO or something along those lines. Base special attack of 140. Whew, that's no joke. I mean, with the 31 IV, you look at that, 160. Look at this. This is insane. Base special, 31. This is no investment. This is no EV investment, and you got a 160. Like, come on now. That's crazy. That's a big number. And then you got, to round out your stats, special defense of 110, speed of 110, which is also really, really good. Like, 110, that's pretty fast. So you could put some speed investment, put some, that defense and HP, just make it rough, because you just get, I mean, if you do full, like, look at that, you're got 187 HP points. Like, I don't know, man. That's kind of tough. You might want to Focus Sash it just to give you longevity. I could see a Focus Sash being like a Focus Sash. You could get it if you can get it onto an electric terrain. That's and have at your speed stat be your, if you do, like, I don't know, calc some numbers. Let's see. So 162 is your, well, it's not, that's actually not correct. So if you did like timid 178 and then you bump this down to like 177 and you had your booster energy or you're on your terrain, your speed would go first, which would make you really, really fast. And you have focus sash, so you'd still be able to take a hit and still be able to do pretty big damage. But you're going to have to do calcs, get on Pikalytics or Pokesports' damage calculator and figure out that stuff. But that's just like a quick idea. I think that could work on this Pokemon. I could be completely wrong, but who knows. Anyways, as far as moves, though, it's going to be a fire poison Pokemon. So you want to go with your special attack moves. So if we just look at your special attack moves right here, Bug Buzz, pointed out right away. Really good move. 10% chance to lower target special defense by 1. Yo, you lower special defenses, you're in the money. It's got D-Gleam, Dazzling Gleam. Very good spread Pokemon. There are a ton of dark Pokemon. There are a ton of fighting Pokemon out there that do not want to be hit by fairy moves. Same thing with dragon Pokemon. They just don't want to take those fairy moves. Now with Terrestrialization, the whole game changes, but whatever. We got Spread Damage Discharge, Energy Ball. That's a really good move, damage move. 10% chance to lower target special defense by 1. If you can do any secondary damage like that, take advantage of those moves. I've found that if that happens, it just gives you that slight edge that you want, a slight edge that you want. Any sort of slight edge you can get in this game against your opponent is definitely going to help you out. So Fiery Dance is another move noteworthy to pull out. 50% chance to raise the user's special attack by 1. I've seen a lot of Fiery Dance on this Pokemon, and the couple of times I faced it. A lot of it, actually. Fire Blast is another. It's a really cool move. It doesn't have 85% accuracy, but it's got a big base power of 110. So, I mean, you got base power of 110. You pair that with a base special attack of 140. Yeah. Damage output, insane. Although you're probably not going to want to go Fire Blast. It is cool when you shoot that Fire X. I tend to go, for me personally, if I'm going to do Fire Blast, I'll just put Flamethrower on there. It's 100% chance. Still got the 10% chance. It's 100% accuracy. Still got the 10% chance to burn. Is 90 power. But again, at base power 140 special attack, 90 power special attack move is pretty sick. But in all honesty, what you're probably going to want to do in doubles is toss Heat Wave on there. Still gives you a 10% chance to burn your foes, not just a singular target. And it does 95 damage, 5 more damage than Flamethrower, but it has an accuracy of 90%. But I think with the chances of burning, a 10% chance of burning both of your foes, and that 5% more damage, that 5 more damage on the Heat Wave over the Flamethrower, being a spread attack in VGC, it makes way more sense to do that. You have Overheat, so that is something you could definitely keep in mind. Overheat, base power 130, accuracy of 90%, does lower the user's special attack by 2, so that could be a last ditch. You're just trying to get that attack off to pick up the KO, hit an Overheat. You never know. Sludge Wave is another cool move to point out. It hits everybody, 10% chance to poison adjacent Pokemon. That's everybody, not foes. Foes is the ones across from you. Adjacent means everybody. Terrestrialize obviously is a great move. It does have Air Slash, so again, another really good move to point out. 30% chance to make your target flinch. You could do cheeky things with Endeavor and Focus Sash if you wanted to. Oh, that's Ember, not Endeavor. My bad. I read that wrong. Oh, I was like, why does it say 10% chance to burn, but it's Endeavor? It's Ember. Wow, it's getting pretty late. It's getting pretty late for me. It's already after, it's after 9 o'clock. That's getting late for me. I'm usually winding down, going ready to go to bed. Anyways, I want to get this done. Anyways, I think that's pretty much all the moves for this guy. I think you're going to want to stick with some fire moves. Maybe toss Air Slash on there for that chance to flinch. Hurricane could be cool. You could Flying Terra this thing for some Stab Hurricane, Stab Air Slash moves. But I think Heat Wave's going to be a good one. Fiery Dance is going to be another really good move on this guy. If you look at, the status moves, you got Helping Hand, you got Light Screen. Toxic Spikes is really good. Whirlwind, how cheeky is that? So, I mean, you could use some support moves on here. So you could run like Toxic Spike, Fiery Dance, Heat Wave, Protect, Focus Sash. That could be a move set. You know, take advantage of Toxic Spikes, you know, stuff like that. You get ×2 Toxic Spikes, and now you're at a Toxic Poison rather than just a regular poison. And for those of you who doesn't know how Toxic works, it does more damage over time. It's like Salt Cure, but cooler. I don't know. Hey, here. Excuse me. Here's Endure. I knew it had it. I knew it had Endure. Yeah, so you can do Endure. You know what I mean? Endure is a good move. So then you don't have to run Focus Sash. You know? But I think Focus Sash is probably a little bit better. It does have this cool move right here called Screech, which lowers the target's defense by 2, and Confuse Ray. So there's a lot of things you can do for supportive moves. So maybe you do a full HP, full defense build with a assault vest, or not an assault vest, with a good investment in your special defense, and make it a supportive Pokemon. I can see that being it. Let's go over here to Godzilla, otherwise known as Iron Thorns, otherwise known as Tyranitar. It's a rock type and electric type Pokemon. It does have Cork type ability, so Boost Energy would be a really good item to have on here. But there is one item that I do want to point out, and it's something that I got absolutely wrecked by, and I have seen other players use on here, and that's this move. Or that's this right here. Loaded Dice. Now, you're like, why Loaded Dice, Draco? Well, that's because we'll talk about that in a second. Stats, though, are going to be HP of 100, attack of 134. Look at this. This is a 0 IV because that's what Showdown does. It always puts 1. It makes it a 5 IV Pokemon. If you were to change this number to 31, so that's perfect IVs, that's a literally no investment attack stat of 154. That's crazy. That's a huge number. Like 186 with the Adamant Nature, 204 attack stat. Golly, this thing is going to smack you in the face. And then you have the rest of its stats in a defense of 110, a special attack of 70, which is garbage. You're not going to use it because it's special attack. You're really going to focus on that on that attack stat of 134, special defense base stat of 84, and a speed of 72. So I think you can really play with these stats, its defensive stats and its attack stats, and get it pretty decently fast under Tailwind or stuff like that, and really be able to use its awesome move sets. That is this move right here. Rock Blast. Yes, I'm talking about Rock Blast. Why am I talking about Rock Blast? Because you have a Loaded Dice on here. And what you're going to do is holders moves that hit 2 to 5 times hit 4 to 5 times. Pop Bomb hits 4 to 10. Like, what? Okay. Look at this. Okay. Rock Blast. Okay. Swords Dance. Partner next to a redirection mon. Hit that Swords Dance. Next turn, hit Rock Blast. Kill everything. Like, take everything out with Rock Blast. It's so funny because it's such a low power move at a power of 25. But then you add the attack, the most insane attack stat of 204. You add a Loaded Dice, so you're at least going to hit 4 times. Possibly 5 times. Do the math. I mean, the amount of damage this Pokemon can do with such a low power move is absolutely insane. Other notable moves that you're going to want to really keep an eye on and probably use, you can do Body Slam, or not Body Slam, Body Press, because it does have this move. It does have Iron Defense, but you're probably not going to do that. A lot of Pokemon have it. It does have Brick Bake to take care of pesky screens, Bulldozer to lower opponent's speed, which is really, really cool. Has EQ, Dragon Tail, forces the target to switch out randomly. That's a good thing. Good Disruptor move right there. You don't really see it too much. But if you have this move right here, okay, Toxic Spikes, okay, and let's say you throw out Toxic Spikes and then you hit this move right here for a base power of 60, not only does it toss your opponent's Pokemon out of the battle and randomly switches with an ally. So now what you've done is you've disrupted whatever it is that they're doing by making them switch out, and you've poisoned that Pokemon coming in. So something you can really do. I really think it's going to do really well. It does have Dragon Dance. That's another thing to note, that it has Dragon Dance. It's actually really good. It has Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance raises your attack and your speed by 1. Really cool to do. So you can even do that. With moves like Bulldozer and Dragon Dance, pretty good self-sustainable speed control. I could see this being a good singles mod. I don't play singles at all, but I could see this working. What else we got? I mean, a host of fire moves, let's see. Let's just pull physical moves up. Iron Head's a good one to note. Rock Blast, obviously. Ice Punch. Low Kick is cool. Stomping Tantrum's pretty decent. Thunder Punch. Yeah. I think you're just going to run Rock Blast and Swords Dance. I think that's your go-to moveset for this guy. No, I don't know. I think you can really get creative, though. Pin Missile is another one, like 2 to 5 times. Could you imagine Pin Missile and Rock Blast on the same Pokemon? Bug is super strong against Grass, Dark, and Psychic Pokemon. There are a ton of those Pokemon running around right now. Think about it. Pin Missile. It literally has 5% more, right, than Rock Blast? Yeah. 5% more accuracy. Rock Blast is 90. Pin Missile is 95% accuracy. And it has 25% damage output, 25% damage output with Swords Dance. And then you just run Protect, okay? Talk about the funniest moveset ever. There you go. That's all you need to do. Full speed investment, full attack investment, and go from there. I'm kidding. Am I, though? I don't know. This one could be really cool. I don't know if you'd run Rock Blast and Pin Missile, but it's just stuff to note that it is something you could definitely do. Could you imagine, though? Oh my God, I'm just laughing thinking about that. You smack a Masquerada in the eye with a Pin Missile 5 times, it just knocks it out. Oh, good stuff. I think Iron Thorns is going to be really cool. I'm not really seeing any other moves to really note. It's got Dig, why not? But I think Rock Blast is a good move to have on here in Swords Dance, and then just run some coverage. You could have Fling with like an Iron Ball. That's a really cool tech for a dark move. I do like Dragon Tail, so I think Dragon Tail could be cool, pairing it up with a Toxic Spike user. So that's Iron Thorns. Now, Iron Treads here. Iron Treads is actually a pretty unique Pokemon into itself, because you can actually catch it outside of Era Zero. So it is a ground steel. It does have Cork Drive. As far as items, I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know if we're going to see much of this guy. Maybe a choice item, just to give you extra damage for that attack stat. That's going to be pretty high. I don't know. I guess it depends on really what you're going to do with it. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. What are you going to do with Iron Treads? It's with its base attack of 90, or base attack HP, or its base HP. Wow, words are hard. This base HP of 90. It's got a base attack of 112, which ain't nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, look, with 0 IV investment, it's got 117 points. That's pretty good. If you put 31, you make it the best. 132. That's not bad. That's no joke. That's definitely gonna be able to do damage. And then you put a defensive stat of 120 on top of it. I could see this being a very good candidate for an Assault Vest. I really could. Assault Vest giving you a pretty good special defense. You got a really good defense stat already. You got a not so shabby HP. I think if you Assault Vest and put 4 physical moves on it, it could do some good. As far as those moves, I mean, you're going to do things like Body Press. It's got Body Press. Every one of these guys have Body Press. That's hilarious. Bulldozer could be a good move. Earthquake could be a good move. Let's see what else we got. Ice Spinner's really good. Breaks terrain. Ooh, here we go. Steel Roller. That's a really good move, actually. Because of terrain. You have to have terrain out for it to work. But what it does is it actually breaks the terrain. And I had to get a sip of water. Really cold water. I had to get a sip of water. Really cold. Anyways, Steel Roller, you have to have Fails if there is no terrain active. Okay, well, maybe it's not that good, but look at the damage output on a stab move. You double stab it with Terra, but it does have this move. What did I do? Ice Spinner, which less damage, same effect as Steel Roller, breaks the terrain. So you could do that. I would probably run Steel Roller personally. Like, you could even run, like, for like a cheeky move, you could run Steel Roller on it next to something like Indeedee or like what is that? Alabrova, whatever. The Olive Tree Pokemon is what I'm trying to spit out. I don't remember what its name is, but it's one of the new ones. So if it gets hit, it sets up the grassy terrain, you know, and then you could Steel Roller and do some big time stab damage. Although you're probably not going to want to use that move as much as you think you would, because there are going to be better moves like Knockoff. Megahorn does 120 damage, and it's a bug move. So big time grass damage there. Rock Slide's a really good move. Wild Charge is pretty decent. Stone Edge, I can see Stone Edge being pretty good. Good rock move. But I think you're going to want to stick with like Earthquake, Knockoff. Do you have U-Turn or something like that? How cool would you be if you had U-Turn? You probably don't. Nope. Say, how cool would you be if you had U-Turn? You don't have U-Turn, so you're not cool anymore, Iron Treads. It is cool. I actually caught this guy early on in the game. I had like 2 badges and I caught him. I was like, I'm going to use him. And then I like used him and I was like, nah, I'm not going to use him. Rock Tomb's pretty cool. Lowers speeds, so that's cool. Smart Strike's a really good move. It doesn't check accuracy. So you could be muddy watered to days and you can still Smart Strike things. Thunder Fang's pretty decent. Rollout's cool. Does it have... So, if you know Whitney, the gym leader, you know what I'm thinking of right now. I'm thinking of a certain move called Defense Curl. Yes, it does. It has Defense Curl and Rollout. Oh, man. Okay. So, anybody who has fought Whitney and... Is it Whitney? I think it's Whitney and the cow, Miltank, know that this move, Rollout, is the worst move in the world. It broke so much feeling. It hurt so much feelings back on the day when this thing first came out and it was on Miltank, and it just deleted all of your Pokemon because you couldn't do anything about it because Rollout's power doubled with each hit. And then... raises the user's defense by 1. Defense Curl. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you Defense Curl first and then you roll out, and it actually makes your rollout stronger. Am I wrong there? I think it used to do that. It could have changed in this one, but it used to do that. Alright, so I just wanted to actually just check it, and I actually pulled up on my phone. I'm showing my phone and the camera isn't being viewed right now. On my phone, I pulled up this app I have. It is Datadex, which is a really, really cool app to have. But the way Defense Curl works, and I just wanted to make sure, is after the move is used, the power of Ice Ball and Rollout are doubled until the user leaves the field. So what I'm saying is you roll out, or you Defense Curl, you get your defense raised by 1, you get your Rollout automatically doubled, and then you're rolling out each turn, and your power is doubled. So by turn 2, you're 4 times 30 times 4, big time damage on an attack stat of 112 with no investment of 132. So it's definitely, I think we can have a lot of fun with this guy. As far as its status moves, Iron Defense, Stealth Rock are probably some really notable ones. Sandstorm, so you could run a manual Sandstorm setter. Probably not going to want to do that, but you could. Electric Terrain is definitely something you're going to maybe think about running because it's the Cork Drive. And Scary Face is also a good speed control. So we talked about Defense Curl. I don't think anybody's going to run Defense Curl, but boy, it would be cool to see. The last and final future Pokemon is going to be Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant is fairy, fighting, has Cork Drive. So, as far as stats for this guy, it's going to be a base HP of 70, a base attack of 130, defense of 90, special attack 120, special defense 60, speed of 116. That's a really decent set of stats. HP of 74, maybe not, but the attack stat of 130 is pretty good. Gives you a base 31 invested, perfect IV Pokemon, so 6 IV. You got 150, no investment. You add 252 on top of that, 182 with no nature. So, and then you give yourself, I don't know, adamant, whatever. Yeah, adamant nature, 200. So, not quite as strong as the other guys, but still a 200 attack is pretty amazing. And it's fairy, so you're going to have some pretty decent fairy moves. The problem is, with a special attack of 120, a lot of those special moves aren't going to do that much damage. But if it has play rough, you can definitely do play rough. But a 120 special attack still is no joke. So it's definitely something you can think about. You can definitely run this as an attacker or a special attacker. It's got a base defense, special defense, I should say, of 60, but a base speed of 116. So really good space, really good stats all the way around. I think it's just going to be how are you going to want to run it. And if we look at its move pool, and we look at its special moves first, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Grass Knot, Hex is really cool if you tie it next to something that spreads burns or other status moves. It's got Hyper Voice, which is a normal move, but it is a spread move. It's got Icy Wind, which is really cool. Moon Blast. I'm thinking special is probably going to be the way to go. It's got a bunch of good special moves. Shadow Ball, Psychic, Psyshock, Terra Blast, obviously. Terra Blast doesn't matter because it's on every Pokemon. You got Magical Leaf, so this move doesn't check accuracy, and it does 60 damage in the grass department, so that could be a thing, but probably not. I think you can maybe, things like Dazzling Gleam, things like Energy Ball, stuff like that. Now, you could do something off of its physical side and its fighting side of things, because that is definitely something that it has access to, is a pretty good plethora of fighting moves. Close Combat, Dream Punch, just to name two right off of the bat. Two really, really clutch fighting moves. Fire Punch, it's got Fling, Ice Punch, it's got Knockoff, Liquidation, Poison Jab, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak for priority, Thunder Punch. I could see this being a mixed bag type of Pokemon. You spread your attack stats between your special attack and attack, and you can hit big time special damage and some pretty sweet physical damage with Shadow Sneak and stuff like that. So I could see it being like that. And Giga Impact, Reversal's a really good move. More power, less HP has left. So if you got, a Focus Sash on it and you get brought down the Focus Sash and you smack it with Reversal, you're getting Stab. And you got Leaf Blade, critical hit ratio, high critical hit ratio with Leaf Blade. Feint, good way to break through protects and stuff like that. So I think this Iron Valiant is something we shouldn't sleep on, and I think once we get it figured out, it's going to do really, really well. I'm excited to see what Iron Valiant can do. That's going to be it for the Iron Pokemon. We're almost done here. Got a few more to talk about. This is probably going to be the longest Let's Talk episode we have. Usually it's going to be like we're going to talk about like one or two Pokemon and maybe what's going on in the week. Anyways, Great Tusk. Great Tusk is pretty cool. Does it have the same thing as Iron Treads? Let's see. It does have Rollout. Okay. And Defense Curl. Yes! You put both these dudes on your team and you got a double Defense Curl Rollout team. No. Come on now. That's awesome. The stat. Okay, actually, first thing we should talk about this. The ability changes from Iron Valiant to Great Tusk, and that's going to be Photosynthesis. And the way this one works is if Sunny Day is active or Booster Energy is used, it does the same exact thing of highest stat of 1.3 times or speed of 1.5 times. But you have to have Sunny Day or the Booster Energy on it. Attack stats, or base stats, are going to be attack or HP of 115, attack of 131, defense of 131. Really good top three stats. These bottom three stats, meh. Special attack of 53, we're not going to worry about that. We don't even care about that. We're going to make you a physical monster. Special defense of 53, a speed of 87. Again, I could see it kind of like Iron Treads being a solid candidate for Assault Vest. So you couldn't run Defense Curl in that case, but I could see it being a pretty solid candidate for that. I'm totally just kind of messing around with you guys about the Defense Curl rollout tech. It's cool, but like there's better options on here. Way better options, like Body Press, for instance. Brick Break's really good. Bulldozer for speed control. Close Combat's a really good move. Earthquake's an awesome move. You do have Endeavor, so you could run an Endeavor set with a Focus Sash and do things like that. But probably not. What else we got? Headlong Rush. Look at this move. Headlong Rush. I've never heard of it, so let's talk about it. Headlong Rush lowers the user's defense and special defense by 1. So it's close combat. It's legitimately close combat. Like, that's not even a joke. Look at that. Lowers the user's defense and special defense by 1. Lowers the user's special defense and same damage. It's the same exact move. That's... wow. Okay, then. Put some effort into that, Pokemon. Anyways. Heavy Smash, probably not going to want to use. Ice Spinner's good. Knockoff, always going to want to think about running Knockoff. Play Rough for them pesky dragons out there. Dark-type Pokemon, stuff like that. Rock Slide for some decent spread damage and a chance to make those foes flinch. Actually, recording today, I had a double flinch off of Rock Slide. Onto me. Not onto my opponent, onto me. It does have Taunt. That's a cool move. Horn Attack. Normal damage. It does have Reversal, so that's another thing you could think about. Sandstorm, Scary Face, Smart Strike, but it's a ground fighting, so you're going to probably want to stick to the ground moves like Earthquake, Mud Slap, Mud Shot, stuff like that. Yeah, I think you're going to probably want to, this, like I said, I think this could be a solid Assault Vest user and running things that can do a lot of damage. As far as its status moves, Bulk Up could be a thing. Taunt is something we already talked about. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be your support Pokemon. You're going to want to definitely do damage with this. Although a good support Pokemon is going to be this next we're going to talk about, and that's Brute Bonnet. It has one move that I want to really point out, and I actually put it on it. I got inspired by Moxie because he did it, and it's this move. Thief. Think about this. And Moxie pointed it out. Booster energy, right? Not B0. BO0. Booster energy. Throw it in. Activates. Hit Thief. Get a Life Orb. Like, you know what I mean? Does amazing damage. Then you got moves like Sucker Punch. Stuff like that. As far as its stats, though, it's going to be a base of 111. HP, attack of 127. Definitely take advantage of that. That's an amazing number. Even with its IVs, 31 IVs, 147 is its IV number. That's a really good attack stat. Defense of 99, special attack of 79. We don't really care about that. Special defense of 99. So defense and special defense, same exact number. You could really do a lot with that. And a speed of 55. As far as moves, though, like I said, it's got Thief, it's got Sucker Punch. It also has this. This is just a Moongus with attack stats. So it's Thief, Sucker Punch, and I think this is the actual moveset I'm running on mine. I'm not for sure. I don't know off the top of my head. But, like, you put something to sleep, you got Thief, you got Sucker Punch, you make it like this. 107. Like, you could really get cheeky here if you really wanted to. And run that 117. You couldn't even do that. Okay, nah, never mind. I was going to say you could try and get that lower, but yeah, that's not going to work. So basically, no matter what you did, even if you did negative, which would be really dumb, yeah, you'd never get it lower than 137. I don't know if Choice Scarf changes that, but you're not going to run Choice Scarf for Spore. That's just silly. So I think Spore and Sucker Punch are going to be really notable moves to have on here. It's got moves like Close Combat. It does have Clear Smog, so it's good Dondozo counter, just like its counterpart Amoonguss. Pollen Puff, another really good one. It should also have Alright. Oh, what am I doing here? Yeah, it does have Rage Powder. So again, it's a Moongus with attack stats. So you could Rage Powder, you could Sucker Punch, you could Thief, you could have Spore on here, Overprotect. And you can do tons of damage. It does have Stun Spore, but you want to just use Spore. Sleep is better than Paralyzed. Even though Paralyzed does slow your opponent down for the whole game, I guess it comes down to situation. So I think Boost Energy is probably your best item on here, and you could really mess around with its moveset. I think Brute Bonnet's going to be a staple on a lot of teams. Sandy Shocks is over here. Sandy Shocks, I have no idea. We could theorize with Sandy Shocks and do some crazy things with Sandy Shocks. I did see Gravity get used on it, which is really cool. But as far as items, I think it's going to also come down to what you're going to do. Stats. Its best attack, stat is a special attack of 121, 85 base HP, 81 attack, 97 defense, special defense of 85, and a speed stat of 101. So it could be pretty fast and do some pretty cheeky things, but I think there's better options out there. Like I said, though, it does have gravity, which is a cool thing. You could do some cheeky stuff. No ground immunity, so that's cool. And a 1.67 times accuracy. I don't know what that exactly means, but what this does is it sucks all your opponents to the ground, whether they're Bird, they're Rotom, they're Hydreigon, they're anything like that. It sucks it to the ground. Other notable moves to talk about are in this Pokemon. Probably going to want to stick with your special. You have Earth Power. You have Volt Switch. Thunderbolt. You know what I mean? So I think this guy is probably going to be the most difficult out of all of them to actually get operating and get going correctly. But Gravity could be fun, but are you just going to run it for Gravity? Probably not. Now, if we do look at its status moves, it's got cool moves like Light Screen. It's got Reflect, so you could run a Light Clay set with a super fast investment to give yourself some good screen support. But then you can just get Grimmsnarl and do the same thing without having to run a speed investment. So it's going to be like, I just want to use Sandy Shocks for screen support, so I'm going to do it. It does have Thunder Wave. It does have Stealth Rocks. It does have Spikes, so those are some pretty notable moves. Thunder Waves gives you great speed control. Ooh, look at that. It does have Eerie Impulse, so you could lower your target's special attack by 2 if you really wanted to. Magnet Flux. What? Raises special defense of allies with plus and minus by 1. Oh, okay, yeah, that's that thing. It does have Screech, that's really cool, and it does have Supersonic. So, bulk it out, make it a supportive Pokemon is what I would do if you're going to ask me. Screamtail. Jigglypuff with a mullet. How you doing here? Fairy Psychic. I don't think I mentioned Sandy Shocks being Electric Ground, which is really, really cool. Because you get an electric immunity. Right? But then you also get a water weakness. So, flip a coin. Flip the Dragonite coin and let's see what happens. Screamtail. Screamtail is really cool. I think Screamtail is something that people are going to sleep on and they're going to be really, really shocked. Because look at these stats. Look at these stats, guys. I'm telling you, an HP stat of 115, a special defense stat of 115, and a speed of 111, and then this defense stat of 99. Who's to say that this isn't going to make one heck of a supportive Pokemon? Items is definitely going to be, what are you going to do with it? And that's always items, by the way. But if we just go straight to the status moves, we got all sorts of stuff. Calm Mind, Disable, Bulk Up, just to name those top few right there. But then we get down to the juice, the meat and potatoes. Fake Tears, Helping Hand, Light Screen, Parasol, Reflect. Come on now. You can't go wrong with those moves. None of those moves do anything wrong for you. You put Parasol, you click Parasol, and you have Gothitelle or whatever it is next to it, or a Dug Trio. Don't use Dug Trio. You have Gothitelle next to it, and you trap it in. Hey, Parasol is going to do Parasol things. It's got Thunder Wave. It's got Trick. It's got Wish. And that's just the usual moves. let's get to the unusual moves. This thing is going to be, honestly, a supportive genius. Amnesia, Endure, Howl, Imprison. Like, okay, there we go. We're already talking some awesome stuff. Misty Terrain, Metronome. Pick some random move. Put Metronome on there. Do it. Let's see it. Scary Face, Sing. It's got Rain Dance, Sandstorm, Sunny Day, and Snowscape. And this just is going to make the Pokemon even better. For this reason. Trick Room. And Imprison. So if you're not running a Trick Room Pokemon team, you just hit Imprison and you have Trick Room. And as long as this dude's alive, they can't use their Trick Room. Probably maybe not going to be something you're going to use, but I definitely could see it being a helping hand, Fake Tears, supportive role type of thing. Thunder Wave. Maybe run Thunder Wave, Fake Tears, helping hand, and a damaging move. Just so you don't get messed up that way. It's got this thing knows Noble Roar. Lowers the target's attack by and special attack by 1. Noble Roar. That's awesome. I really think Screaming Tail is going to be a really good support Pokemon. Fluttermane. I've seen a lot of Fluttermane running around here. As far as the item, I think you're probably going to want to go with... It depends on what you're going to do with it. But it does have a really high special attack of 135 and a defense of 135 and a speed of 135. But then you look at these top 3 stats right here. Pokemon. Like, what'd you do, man? Like, come on, Game Freak. Like, what is this nonsense? 55, 55, 55 for HP, attack, and defense? Like, come on now. So I think it's going to be maybe Focus Sash Pokemon. Doesn't have Trick Room option. It does have Trick Room, so it could be a Trick Room setter. Stuff like that. Like, I think your item's going to be based on your moves. As far as moves, though, I think you're going to want to maybe make it, if you're going to use it as attacker, you're going to definitely want to use special attack. Because it's got a pretty good pool of special attack moves. Dark Pulse, Dazzling Gleam, Draining Kiss, to name a few. Those are Draining Kiss and Dazzling Gleam are stab, and it's Fairy type. And it's Ghost type. Mystical Fire is a really good move. Nightshade's really good. Shadow Ball is definitely one to mark down. Yeah. So I think you're going to probably run something like Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss... maybe not even Draining Kiss, Dazzling Gleam, and then probably look at its status moves. Calm Mind's really good, Fake Tears really good, Helping Hand's really good, Pain Split's really good move. Taunt, Thunder Wave, Wish. Yeah. So you're going to probably run some good special attack moves with some support here. I've seen a lot of it around on the like ladder and stuff like that. Slitherwings. Slitherwings... It's Volcarona. It's got... Oh, it does not have Rage Powder. Okay, never mind. I thought it had Rage Powder for some reason. But it does have its stats, attack of 135, so it's really good. Special defense of 105. The rest are okay at an HP of 85, defense of 79, a special attack of 85, and a speed of 81. As far as your item, it's going to come down to, again, what are you going to do with it? You could run something like a Dual Wing Beat for some good flying damage there. But really, honestly, if you have access to any other flying move, Dual Wing Beat might not be your jam. Like, let's see. Just to see. Yeah, nope. You're not going to run a flying move. You could run Acrobatics with its booster energy, but it's got First Impression, which is really good. Stabbed Out Bug always hits first turn only. That's really good. Brick Break, Close Combat, Earthquake. So those are really good. It has this awesome move right here, Leech Life. I'd probably run Leech Life on here. Maybe Leech Life, Close Combat, First Impression, and Protect. Yeah, I think that might work. Yeah. Because then you got priority first turn attack, First Impression, stab damage, Close Combat for some good attack damage, Leech Life, stuff like that. There's going to be other moves you can run for sure. U-turn. Heavy Slam, maybe not. Bug Bite, maybe not. If it has berries, though, you could do some cheeky stuff with that. As far as its status moves, though, it's got some pretty decent status moves. It's got bulk up. Okay, that's a good one. It's got Will-O-Wisp. That was the one I really wanted to point out. And it's got Whirlwind. So Will-O-Wisp is really good. Something you want to take advantage of. Poison Powder, another thing, could be something cool to do. But really, Will-O-Wisp, if you're going to run Poison Powder, just switch to Will-O-Wisp. Endure. So I think you're going to run Will-O-Wisp on here, maybe close combat. Maybe Leech Life, Protect, stuff like that. So as far as the item, probably just a booster energy. I don't know. It's going to be what are you going to do with it. I don't think I'm going to be using this Slither Wings all that much. I'll probably build a team with it because I do want to try and build a team with each one of these guys. But I don't know. Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon is a Dragon Dark Pokemon. Oh, by the way, Slither's Wings, I didn't mention it. If you didn't catch on already, it's bug fighting. Roaring Moon is Dragon Dark. It's got this cool move called something Claw or something, right? No. What is it? I don't remember. Anyways, let's talk about the stats, and then it'll come to me. It's got this Roaring Moon has a really good attack setup, or stat setup. Speed of 119, special defense of 101, attack of 139, HP of 105. So four stats are over 100. Defense of 71, special attack of 55. So you just run a physical guy here, and you run physical moves, obviously. There's one move, I can't remember the name. It's written really late here. It is, where is it? It's on here. Jaw Lock. It's its signature move. That's why I want to talk about it. But we'll talk about other moves and we'll talk about Jaw Lock. So it's got moves like Acrobatics, obviously. Good flying move. It's got Brick Break. It's got Crunch for stab. Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail. Again, you can do the same thing with the Toxic Spike stuff. Earthquake is a good thing to have on there. Fire Fang, Iron Head, Outrage. Rock Slide's good. Shadow Claw is good. Throat Chop's pretty good. There's not that many Incineroars to deal with, so there's not Incineroar at all, actually. U-Turn, stuff like that. So I think you just run a physical setup. But Jaw Lock, prevents both user and target from switching out. So you grab a hold of it, and you Parasong, and you just stay in there, and you Parasong, and you die as the Parasong. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Jaw Lock, but it is a signature move. It is a cool move. It has a cool effect. It does 80 damage. So I think you run a full physical set, and you run like Life Orb. Or you run Choice Specs. Or not 9. Choice Band, sorry, not Specs. Choice Band. You run Choice Band, or you run Life Orb. Something like that. I think that's going to be your best options. This actually took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take. But other notable moves, this took a lot longer than I thought it was going to do. Other like notable moves that I would probably really think about on here. I mean, I don't know, Draco Meteor. It's physical though, so you really want to stick with its physical. I think physical. I don't really see much other than the basic stuff like Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Rock Slide. You do have Breaking Swipes, so that's something we can definitely take down as a note. Lowers attacks. Anytime you can do anything like that, it's definitely something you want to think about. Yeah. I don't know. So that's the Paradox Pokemon. Alright, that's it. That is the first episode in the books of Let's Talk Pokemon. This one we talked about the Paradox Pokemon. I plan on doing this once a week. And each week we're going to talk about Pokemon. What's going on in the world of Pokemon. Pokemon notes. What'll happen is we will pick a Pokemon. It's late, so I'm trying to remember what to say. We'll pick a Pokemon, like whatever, doesn't matter what it is for the week, and it could be it'll probably have something to do with either if it's a team that I made for that week, then it'll feature something, whatever the shtick is of that team, and then if some sort of tournament or something, which there's tournaments all the time happening. I really focus on the ones put on by Pokemon. There are tons of other ones by like Victory Road and stuff like that. But yeah, if there's a tournament happening, maybe we'll talk about that, report on that. Basically, it's just a way to talk about Pokemon for a little bit. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, to do, and that is a simple thing of clicking the right button, simple thing of hitting that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, stay positive, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.